to a hospital cash machine to withdraw money for him. His own brother was at Southampton Crown Court to see him sentenced. He says he even stole £12,000 from their own mother.
He's a horrible man. What he got today should have been more. It's just hurt so many people. I'm even upset now talking about it. He should have got a lot more.
David Coombs' Facebook page claims he treats people with respect, but he has 22 previous convictions for 62 offences dating back 35 years. His victims, often women he was able to charm and then ruthlessly take advantage of. The judge described David Coombs as a con man of many years' experience. His level of dishonesty was truly staggering. He picked on obviously vulnerable people, systematically and ruthlessly taking advantage of his victims' good nature.
He would say things like, oh, I've lost my wallet, or I've left my wallet somewhere, or I've got problems paying, or could you please pick this up, I'll pay you back. All things that were completely contradictory to the kind of lavish lifestyle that he was trying to portray.
And he kept asking us for money for deposit, and the keys were coming. He just seemed very convincing. He just seemed a really decent, kind man.
David Coombs pleaded guilty to 9 counts involving a total of £37,000, a catalogue of lies, deceit and threats, according to the judge. Kerry Swain, ITV News.
Stop targeting the vulnerable. That was the message from a despairing group of people with disabilities who gathered to protest about budget cuts in Southampton today.
Yes, they're opposing plans to change care packages as part of moves to save millions of pounds.
Southampton City Council has a budget of around £230 million. That's after cutting £92 million.
But now the local authority says it needs to save a further £40 million over the next 3 years. Some of that will be funded by increased revenue from council tax and other income streams. But there will have to be cuts.
And today, councillors have been discussing plans to further reduce spending in ways they say will be as fair as possible. Here's Christine Alsford.
No cuts! No.
While councillors gathered inside to discuss budget reductions and revenue expenditure, those on the steps outside said they were just calling for compassion.
Councils are making a choice to pass cuts on to disabled people.
Protesters, including many using wheelchairs, gathered at Southampton's Civic Centre to oppose proposed budget cuts totalling £40 million. They say they're angry at the changes and feel the disabled are being unfairly hard hit. Among them, 84-year-old Barbara Lupton.
I'm here because there's more government cuts on the way, especially for the disabled. They seem to like to hurt the people that have least.
Oh, very worrying. I mean, everything's close to breaking point.
Any disability cuts have got to be stopped. I mean, there's not enough money spent on disability.
The council say that they've had to cut budgets for the last 6 years, totalling some £120 million. They say in the future they can no longer continue to make economies without taking some very painful decisions.
It's not that we're targeting the most vulnerable, but the vast majority of our budget is spent on the most vulnerable. And when you're looking to make reductions, particularly having done £120 million of cuts already, some of the things that will be changed or removed or altered will affect, the most vulnerable members of society, and that is a regret to me.
Among the other measures now on the cards in the city, introducing fortnightly instead of weekly bin collections, increasing charges in outlying district car parks, saving money on a short break service for children with disabilities, and no longer funding an outreach project for people with HIV. But opposition councillors say those in power in the local authority are going about things the wrong way.
I think the current Labour Council have got their priorities all wrong. What they should be doing is investing a lot more in making this city an attractive place for people to come and work and study and live here, because that will grow the economy and will give us more tax revenues to pay for vital services.
The council say many of the changes will be achieved by altering the way things are done for the better and improving efficiency. But those who increasingly feel left out in the cold say they think the worst is yet to come. Christine Alsford, ITV News.
The RMT union has announced it will stage a 24-hour strike on Southern trains a week today. That's February the 22nd. Talks between union bosses and Southern broke down yesterday in the long-running dispute over the role of guards on trains. The results of a ballot by the drivers' union, ASLEF, is due to be announced tomorrow.
Well, they're a lifeline to some, an amenity to others, and a little bit of history too. Villagers in a rural part of Dorset say part of their community life is under threat after a number of their post boxes disappeared, presumed stolen.
One of the post boxes stolen from Wimborne St Giles was 80 years old. Here's Martin Dowse.
Wimborne St Giles, picturesque, quiet, always fighting to keep its sense of village identity, keen to keep the bonds that bind the community intact.
And the people living here, like many other rural communities, feel that the very fabric of their village is being chipped away bit by bit. And the latest thing that they're losing are these, into the hands of thieves.
One of their post boxes used to be attached to this telegraph pole, but it vanished overnight. It was pre-war from the reign of George VI, recently repainted with a distinctive curved top.
I think how many people have posted their letters off to people, loved ones in the war, different things like that, Christmas cards, birthday cards. Overnight, it's been just taken off, probably, 10 minutes, if you could call it work. I wouldn't call it work.
And some of the people here in the hamlet are elderly. They can't get down to the post office. So it was their lifeline, and it's been taken from us, and we feel violated, to be honest with you.
Shavings of red paint mark the spot where another local box was dragged out of the ground, probably by a vehicle. What irks the villagers is that the boxes are probably being stolen to feed a black market demand for them as novelty items. But to them, they're a vital rural amenity.
If we don't get them back, it's even a bigger shame. It's disgusting.
The Royal Mail doesn't sell its old boxes on ever, so it urges people to be highly suspicious of any they see or are offered for sale. A spokesman said, "We can confirm that 2 post boxes have been stolen recently in the Wimborne St Giles area. We apologise to customers for any inconvenience this may cause. We urge anyone with information about this or any other post box theft to contact the police." Word around here is that dozens of others have disappeared in similar circumstances in the wider area in the last couple of years. Martin Dowse, ITV News.
Now, spring must be in the air because today saw the launch of the Brighton Festival 2017 and its famous fringe.
50 years old now. In the past, famous names like Laurence Olivier and violinist Yehudi Menuhin have taken part, but it's just as famous for its children's parade and open approach that makes everyone welcome. With more now, Tom Savides.
It's England's biggest multi-arts festival, with the streets, theatres and music venues coming to life.
Be a part of life. No big deal, just life itself. Singing, playing, dancing, moving, painting life and communicating about that in public spaces.
The Brighton Festival celebrates its 51st anniversary this year.
It's truthful communication between humans about humanity. Hit one person so deeply and leave someone else so cold.
Poet, singer and author Kate Tempest is the guest director. Many of her works deal with poverty, class and consumerism, so expect political views to be mixed in with the arts.
This year's theme, Everyday Epic.
She's really pushed us and challenged us to open up the festival more than ever before, to be right across the city, to be in unusual places and unusual spaces. And she's brought new artists to the festival, and we're sure that a whole raft of new audiences will be on our doorstep.
The 3-week festival kicks off on May the 6th, with the lineup revealed today. It includes, among others, contemporary and classical music, poetry, dance and circus, and books and debate, including a discussion on Brexit and religious fundamentalism. With titles like Let Them Eat Chaos and No Dogs or Indians, expect gritty issues to be tackled. But great British traditions like bingo will also be celebrated in the weekend without walls. Tom Savides, ITV News.
You are watching ITV News here in the South. Thank you very much for choosing us. For more on all of our stories, you know what to do. Head to itv.com/Meridian. Any views or news, why not give us a call, or you can get in touch via Facebook or send us a tweet at ITV Meridian.
More headlines, and Rolf Harris is facing a retrial over 3 alleged sexual assaults and 1 new charge of indecent assault. Last week, the 86-year-old former entertainer from Bray in Berkshire was found not guilty of 3 assaults, but the jury failed to return a verdict on 4 counts. His retrial will take place in May.
A professional footballer accused of smashing a bottle of whiskey over a bouncer's head at a nightclub has been cleared of GBH charges. Swindon midfielder on loan from Brighton, Rohan Ince, was acquitted of 2 counts. The 24-year-old had been drinking at Attic nightclub in Windsor when a series of fights broke out in the early hours of Christmas Day.
Over 20 years, more than 500,000 women and men have strutted down the streets in their bras to raise millions for a breast cancer charity.
Indeed, MoonWalk was all started by one woman from Berkshire who came up with the idea after walking the New York Marathon in her bra, as Lauren Hall now reports.
These are the women who dare to bear, stripping down to their bras in support of those with breast cancer. The MoonWalk is now in its 20th year. It takes place in just a few months' time, attracting thousands of women and men from all over the country. Among them will be these 3.
I had breast cancer. I was diagnosed in September 2014 and had a long, very unpleasant journey, and I just thought it'd be really lovely to make something positive out of a rather unpleasant experience.
It's a really nice charity to raise money for, and the sense of achievement when you finish, it's so good. You know, you've walked around London, you've walked in the bra, you've raised loads of money, and you've walked a marathon. 26 miles is a long way.
Yeah, and you've kept fit, and the people you meet, the whole Walk the Walk family, are so lovely.
There's the full moon or the half moon, both routes going around London in the middle of the night. It's in aid of the Walk the Walk charity, which funds medical research and helps those living with breast cancer. It all started when the charity's founder, Nina Baru from Wokingham, travelled from Berkshire to the States to take part in the New York Marathon. She power walked it with a group of friends, all of them in their bras.
It was only ever meant to be a one-off fundraising event. It was never meant to be more than that. And yet, a couple of months later, I actually discovered that I'd got breast cancer myself.
Nina wanted to continue her fundraising efforts. She started up the MoonWalk, which keeps on raising money and awareness for breast cancer.
I love it to see women of all ages, all shapes, all sizes. And it's not just about the bra, but the bra is fun. And I think that over the years, Walk the Walk has put a huge amount of fun into something that is very, very serious. And in turn, that's enabled people to talk very openly about breast cancer.
These 3 are determined to have fun. The walk takes place in early May, so there's plenty of time to train. And of course, choose a bra. Lauren Hall, ITV News.
Good luck to all taking part. Now, will it be the Magpies? Will it be the Seagulls? Will there be a right royal end to the season? Here's the top tipster who's never wrong. I would never dispute him, ever.
Ever.
Andrew Pate.
I'm telling you. Right, the fight for promotion to the Premier League is really hotting up, with Reading ready to pounce. Brighton and Newcastle both drew last night. It means the Magpies and the Seagulls are still flying high at the top of the Championship, but with Reading and the rest of the chasing pack winning, it's looking tight at the top.
Need an early retirement, mate? Selco, sponsoring ITV Meridian Sports Report.
A goal fest at the Medeski saw John Swift give Reading the lead. But after the break, it was Brentford who bounced back, Jota slamming home. And 3 minutes later, the Londoners were in front through Lasse Vibe. So Reading boss Jaap Stam gambled by throwing on 3 subs. And it paid off, Danny Williams poking home, before a goalkeeping error helped substitute Jan Kermigant set up substitute Roy Behrens for the winner. Brighton missed out on going top, with Ipswich defender Luke Chambers reacting quickest at a free kick. The Seagulls were going for their 8th home win in a row and won a penalty when Bruno was brought down. Tomohamed scoring his 13th goal of the season, but the Seagulls stay second. We head to League Two now, because 2 wins in 4 days could be just the springboard Portsmouth need to mount a push for automatic promotion. On Saturday, Pompey beat Accrington Stanley. Last night they saw off Blackpool, and the gap at the top 3 is shortening. This was Pompey's first back-to-back win since September, Gareth Evans sending them on their way. And a lovely 1-2 between Owen Doyle and Carl Baker saw Doyle grab his first Portsmouth goal. It was the Jimmy Smith show for Crawley. He met Dean Cox's corner to equalise. He then scored an absolute peach of a goal to give them the lead. And Smith grabbed his hat-trick with a long-range effort that crept in. Crawley holding on after Colchester's injury-time free kick. In League One, struggling Swindon stay in the relegation zone with an unfortunate own goal by Lloyd Jones seeing them go behind. With 8 minutes left, spirits were lifted when a great run by James Brophy set up Luke Norris for a fine diving header. But with just 2 minutes to go, Northampton took all 3 points, John Joe O'Toole leaving Swindon deep in trouble. Oxford United had won their last 5 matches, but went behind to Marc-Antoine Fortunet's powerful header. And they'll want to forget this match and concentrate on their FA Cup tie at Middlesbrough on Saturday, after Theo Robinson headed home as second. We're now exactly 100 days away from the start of the America's Cup. Sir Ben Ainsley and his team have launched the boat they hope will win them the title. They're based in Portsmouth, but will be trying to capture the crown out in Bermuda, where the competition starts on May the 26th. Yep, the boat's called Rita. Let's hope she's a winner.
What a good name.
Good name. All of Sir Ben's boats are called Rita. Hasn't done him any harm so far.
So far, so good.
Thank you, Andrew.
Thank you, Andrew.
Now, are you part of the vinyl revival that's seen sales of records soar to a 25-year high?
Yes, turntables and record players are back in vogue. The Oxfam Music Shop on East Street in Southampton has been open 10 years. It was one of the first charity music shops in the country. It is now selling 20,000 vinyl records a year. Another's on Duke Street in Reading.
Bob Crampton has been finding out what goes around comes around, literally.
Pump up the volume. Pump up the volume. Put the needle on the record. 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 When the drum beats go like.
Sales of these black discs are pumped up as well. Once it was the domain of collectors looking for second-hand LPs. Now big-name artists are releasing their music on vinyl. New vinyl sales were up by more than 50% last year. The figure topped 3.2 million records. Add in the second-hand sales, and it could well be in excess of 6 million. It's the most LPs sold since 1991.
This revival, is it, do you think, just a fashion thing?
I think it's going to have some legs because people are buying the equipment again. They're buying turntables, they're investing in speakers. They're buying good needles, good styluses to play records on. So in that respect, I think it's going to continue because people don't tend to invest money in something unless they're going to run with it for a little while. And yeah, I think it's definitely something that's going to carry on for a little while at least.
Many people can remember the first record they bought.
What was your first vinyl record?
I think it was Jose Feliciano, an LP, probably in 1960.
You've got a good memory.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's some substance to it. Got a nice vinyl, got a nice record cover.
In my teenage years, obviously, I played vinyl, but no interest with it now.
Did you play vinyl?
Yes.
Have you played vinyl?
Yes, definitely, yes.
And what do you think of the vinyl?
It's good, yeah, it's very good.
Why is that?
And it's making a comeback as well, isn't it? Yeah, so, yeah.
I've got a pretty big vinyl collection.
How many vinyl records have you got?
Hundreds probably rather than thousands, and a rather expensive system to enjoy them on.
Radio DJs talk wistfully of the forerunners of CDs and streaming.
A sound engineer friend of mine talks about the arc of sound, which in analogue terms is a perfect arc because it's real sound. Whereas, of course, it doesn't matter how good a quality a digital copy is, it's still ones and noughts. So instead of the beautiful arcs that you get with real linear audio, it's always going to be that slightly stepped version. So even on your good stereos turned up really loud, I'm afraid nothing beats a bit of vinyl.
Music by the late David Bowie was #1 in the 2016 chart. His Black Star album brought a surge of vinyl sales. Others included in the top 5 were Amy Winehouse with Back to Black. Radiohead and Fleetwood Mac's Rumours weren't too far behind.
Now, we recently had the death of David Bowie. Did that produce a huge surge in vinyl records?
There was a huge boom in Bowie's back catalogue, yeah, without a doubt. I mean, literally, we couldn't keep the records in the shop on one day. I think I actually sold 25 Bowie records the day after he died, and that was all I had in the world, so I had to go out and find some more.
Records have had a checkered and sometimes bizarre history. The very first discs were made of vulcanized rubber. Then, in 1948, the Americans came up with a vinyl concept. The rest, as they say, is history.
It's got a warmer sound. It's recorded analog onto tape, so if it's really well recorded and produced, when you put the record on at home on it doesn't have to be a top-end hi-fi, but at least a reasonable hi-fi, it's as if you're listening to your own personal concert.
These are just a few albums I found in my attic, dusted them down. I've got Santana here, this is a great album, and a double album of Sgt. Pepper's. Now, I now consider them old friends, and they're rather like old slippers. They're very, very comfortable, and the music is good in terms of quality. Would I get rid of them? What do you think?
It may only be sort of 2 ounces of plastic with a hole in the middle, but it's, you know, it's a very attractive medium, and it sounds great, it looks great, and it even smells great.
Pump up the volume, pump up the volume, pump up the volume, dance.
Brilliant. What was your first vinyl?
1986, Pepsi and Shirley, Heartache.
Talking of heartache, how are you?
There was no need, was there? There was no need. I have a record of a different kind. You remember on Friday, we had this picture from Barbara, and we said, can you get an Amaryllis with more than 4 heads on it?
Is this the way?
Yeah, exactly. Is this the way to Amaryllis? Well, it's the way to Sangeeta's Conservatory, because look, Sushma Barbara, Sanga's mum.
My mum sent that in.
Has also got a 4-header look.
Yeah, and our neighbour, Philippa, gave us that.
And it
didn't look like that at the beginning.
Under attack, look, down at the bottom. Who are they trying to get it? Meanwhile, Alan and June Mitchell in Woodfalls in Wiltshire have been waiting all week for theirs to come out, and now it has. It's got 5 heads on it. Carol Evans in Brackley has sent in this one. 4 flowers on one stem, 2 flowers on the other. That's 6 in total, but 2 stems. What do we think? Lynn Eccles has got one here. 6 on the one stalk, 2 blooms and 2 buds. 4 blooms rather and 2 buds. And finally, Linda Foote in Meon Stoke in the Meon Valley. An apple blossom Amaryllis. 8 blooms on it, but again 2 stalks. So I look to you as the adjudicator.
Fantastic. A record-breaking weather forecast?
I suspect not.
We suspect not? Let's find out. Here's the man who knows, Simon Parkin.
From blizzards to pool, driving through Europe. Eurotunnel the Shuttle sponsors ITV Meridian weather.
Now, you might have noticed that mist and fog can look very pretty in a photo, as modelled by Mark, who took this picture in Sonning when we had our last misty spell. Guess what? We've another one to look forward to over the next few days, and it's all because we've got high pressure sitting right on top of us. Now, that's good because it keeps the weather fronts at bay out to the west. Nothing tricky is going to happen apart from a rogue shower as we head through the next couple of days. But with that high pressure literally on top of us, there's no wind to stir things up. So when we see the mist and the fog develop overnight, might take a while to clear of a morning. So for tonight, it's a largely dry story. Might be an odd spit or spot of rain at first. Variable amounts of cloud, some clear spells. Temperatures, well, we're certainly frost-free. We're looking at lows of around 6 or 7 degrees. But there will be that mist and fog. And so first thing tomorrow morning, it might be a bit grey and murky. However, it will lift, might be a bit slow in places. And then we've got a decent Thursday to look forward to. Some good spells of sunshine on the cards. They'll will be some cloud around. Winds stay light, and look at your temperatures. 11 is 52 in Fahrenheit, which is a couple of degrees ahead of where we should be for this time of year. As for your high tide times, well, you can see in Brighton around 2:20 in the morning, then 2:30 come the afternoon, and then it'll be another murky night, probably more murky to take us into Friday. So a bit of a grey and grubby start to Friday, but a similar sort of day. Yes, there'll be some cloud. Yes, there'll be some bright spells. Yes, it will stay dry with temperatures once again up into double figures. More of the same as we head into Saturday. It's not until Sunday that we get a bit more wind around, and that should mean the mist will be gone.
Eurotunnel the Shuttle sponsors ITV Meridian weather.
And that's how we look tonight. In just a moment, the ITV Evening News with Mary Nightingale.
Sangeeta's got our late news, so do make a date to join her if you can. But for now, from the team here at ITV Meridian, thank you very much for watching. Take care. Join us again soon.
See you later. Bye-bye.
Bye.